Do. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jennifer's Perspective. And I hope that everyone had a wonderful Easter afternoon or a peaceful Easter weekend. Today, my very special guest is Miss Phoenix Gibbs, and Phoenix is the author of my affirmation book. She is also a spiritual and wellness boxes and heart coaching. And she has experienced what it feels like to feel either lost or stuck in life, where she didn't even know where to start her own spiritual journey. So, after surviving a near death experience and a very deep yet powerful spiritual awakening, she discovered her mission. Her mission is to spread love, compassion, and inspiration with humility and with humanity by sharing her life experiences and how to powerfully live life intentionally. And she uses the word intentionally because you have to be intent when it comes to how you're living and what you're doing, running a business. Say hello, Phoenix, to the audience, and let's get started.
Hey, beautiful souls. Hope all is well. Jennifer, thank you for having me. Jennifer's Perspective. I actually love that title, by the way.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Listen, honor and respect, sis. Honor and respect.
Always.
Now, can you just give us a little backstory on your journey and how you became an author and how you became the author of my affirmations? What has transpired within your life in order for you to write this book?
I went through different forms of struggle, from being molested as a child to having a near-death experience to feeling like I didn't belong. I didn't have a place within my family dynamic. And all of those experiences, once I've reached a specific time in my life of evolving and elevating, I learned that they were all gifts that I was supposed to experience and go through so that I can be able to serve and teach and share
Mm-hmm.
humanity, because there's so many people who've experienced abuse, trauma, challenges in life, and always probably felt like they didn't fit. So
Mm-hmm.
what I do with my gift of spreading unconditional love, compassion, inspiration with people is just to create hope within themselves, to know that you don't have to fit in. You can stand out. You can define what family means to you. You can define what friendship means to you. You can define what life means to you and create it with intention and get
Mm-hmm.
excited about life, your life. And know
Mm-hmm.
that once you stop resisting what God universe has in store for you and you surrender to that and you surrender to your power and your greatness, so many
Mm-hmm.
blessings and opportunities can come your way. Because at
Mm-hmm.
that point, you are operating in a space of knowing that you deserve all the blessings and opportunities. So that's why I came
Mm-hmm.
up with the book, 365 Days of Affirmations for the Mind, Heart, Body, and Spirit, because every page, every affirmation speaks about allowing yourself to surrender to the power and the greatness within. That
Mm-hmm.
way, you're not operating in fear, guilt, shame, trauma, struggle, or in the past anymore, holding grudges, but you be more in a space of operating in forgiveness, self forgiveness, forgiveness in the mind, forgiveness in the heart, forgiveness in the body, forgiveness in the spirit, because so many people struggle with so much things in life. Like, I have a friend
Mm-hmm.
of mine, she said that she would beat herself up because of the way she felt her body looked.
Oh,
Another friend,
wow.
and she's beautiful, amazing. She has like 5 kids and her body's snatched. Like, she doesn't have a stretch mark or roll. Her belly is flat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She beats
Mm-hmm.
herself up all the time of how her body looks. Me,
Mm-hmm.
for a long time, I had an issue with the fact that I had big boobs, and I would be like, I want to go to the doctor and chop them off because they block me. So,
Because you were top
oh,
heavy.
yes,
Okay.
very
Okay.
top heavy. And I had to come to terms and accept this is part of my body, it's part of who I am.
Mm.
So what I do is I just try to help as many people as possible, especially people who struggle with anxiety and hypochondria, because and I overcame hypochondria in a lot of ways where I no longer self-sabotage or psych myself out or think that there's 500 million things wrong with me, because I would be the chick that would be running to the emergency room every 5 minutes because I have a pain in my side or my head and I'm
Ooh.
thinking it's cancer. Like, it's so many different things. So
You
I
was
know
always my patient. You would be one of my patients. I'd be like, "What you doing here today? What happened?"
exactly. My doctor would be like, "Hi, Phoenix. Like, what are you doing today? Like, what's wrong now?" And I'm like, "No, no, I just feel this way." So yeah, and so my heart goes out to anyone who goes through anxiety and fear and hypochondria, because when you experience a form of deep trauma, that's
Mm-hmm.
what happens. It results into panic attack and anxiety and trauma and stuff like that. And as people, we're learned whenever we go through something so dramatic, just stuff it down, don't worry about it, push it aside and move it and keep moving forward, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to being encouraged to deal with it, to heal
Mm-hmm.
from it, to confront pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The
So
one thing,
that's
the one thing that you mentioned was forgiveness of the body. And a lot of things
mhm.
we can forgive other people. We can forgive, it's hard to forgive ourselves, but then how do you forgive your own body?
Well, for me, what I started doing was talking to my body. I would say, "Breast, please forgive me for not treating you properly." Or when I was growing up, because of being sexually abused, I in turn started mistreating and abusing my body by sleeping with a whole bunch of people. And my
Mhm.
analogy was
You
my
became
body,
very,
yeah.
mhm,
So my body
promiscuous.
was like, mhm. So my body for me was a filet mignon with all the dressings and seasoning on it, and you would take a garbage top, you put it on there, and I just gave it to everyone and
Um,
said, "Hi, here, just do what you want with me." So I put my body through that trauma. So I had to ask my body, every part of my body, to forgive me for doing what I knew I should not have been doing with it. And that's how I
and you're
started.
healing.
Yes.
And that's how you started healing. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Isn't
Mhm.
forgiveness something?
It is, and
Forgiveness
it's
really,
it is because, like you said, it's easy for us to forgive other people, but when it comes to ourselves, we find it so hard to forgive ourselves. We find it so hard to love ourselves, to fall in
mhm.
love with ourselves. But we would give our right arm and leg for Joe Schmo and everybody else, but then when it comes to
Ooh,
us,
can I get a high five? Ooh.
and it's just like, what am I doing all this for? What really? And I can't give myself this. I can't invest in myself.
Mm,
Like, no, and I had to stop doing that. And that's what I teach people, to like stop overextending and depleting energy and
mhm,
transfer that back into your being, yourself.
mhm, mhm,
Because you
mhm,
matter at the end of the day. You matter. You're so important. You're special. You were created with wonderful gifts and abilities. So
mhm.
allow yourself to experience you in that way.
Nice. Let me tell you something, Phoenix. Your
Mhm.
book of affirmations, can we just see what the copy of the book looks like? Do you have it? Now, you have 365 days of affirmation for the mind, heart, body, and spirit. Do you mind reading some of the affirmations for us?
Absolutely. So,
Women entrepreneurs and women in business.
so Day 289 says, "I no longer take myself for granted. Now I cherish every aspect of who I am and what I mean to myself."
Nice.
So that one, my favorite is actually 185. And the reason being is because it talks about a journey. Is it
Mm-hmm.
185? It says, "I release the chains of fear, doubt, anger, bitterness, and rage that I've been carrying. They no longer hold me back from being my best self and living my best life. The more I hold myself back and make excuses, the less I get to experience life at its finest. I am not bound by those chains anymore."
Oh my God. Now, I saw that you had some photos. You were doing a book signing. Where was the book signing? Where did the book signing take place?
Well, this is my second book signing I'm doing at a cosmic shop that has a whole bunch of holistic products. The first book signing was at something called Starling Yard. I don't know if you've ever been to like a beer garden on the outside where they have all the truck vendors, and yeah, there's a specific it's a type of a community, outside
Mhm,
community. It's called Beer Garden, and there's different vendors on the outside, and there's like benches. People come together, they congregate, and so on and so forth. So in Savannah, there's sort of like a beer garden type of atmosphere where there's truck vendors that sell food. People go,
mhm,
there's a stage where people listen to music. So I was passing by a couple months ago, and I decided just to email the manager if I could do my book signing at the beer
mhm.
garden. People were, coming in and out, and I was able to sell 25 books.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
And,
Awesome,
and
awesome, awesome.
so just being around in the community, because sometimes, yes, social media is good, and Facebook ads and YouTube and marketing is great. However, when a person gets to meet you in person and you get to
You need
exchange,
to be able to interact with people,
exactly.
and it's the people interaction that is actually, isn't that wonderful?
It is, for
It
sure.
is, it is, it is. Now, you also wrote another book. What was the name of the book?
That book is called Your Life, Your Purpose, No Explanations. And when I wrote it, my mother was like, damn, that's kind of harsh. I'm like, but that's what it is. People need to learn their life, their purpose, and their explanations. So needless to say, she was just like, I really don't like that title. And I'm like, you're gonna be okay, mom. So it was just little different snippets from my trauma and challenges that I experienced in that book. And
Uh-huh.
I definitely made some affirmations in the book. It was kind of like three things. It was me sharing my story, me
Hmm.
asking questions to the reader about the different experiences in each chapter, and actually adding affirmations to the book as well. And
Hmm.
on top of that as well, anyone who helped me overcome that challenge, I thank them in each chapter.
You acknowledge them in your book?
Yes, everyone, whoever, like, say for instance, me going through my near death experience,
Hmm. Hmm.
he actually ran me to the hospital so I can actually have surgery because I almost died. So I thanked her for helping me with that experience. And then I would have some questions about, if this was your last day on earth before you took your last breath, would you have any regrets? Questions like that. I would.
Nice. Those are actually great questions. And what now, what type of near death experience was it?
I had thyroid tumor,
Hmm.
and what happened was that I was pregnant at the time, and I wasn't able to have the baby because the fibroid took the life out of me.
Wait a minute. You were pregnant and you had fibroids at the same time?
Mhm. And so the fibroid grew and the babies didn't grow. So they had to do
Um,
DNC. So once they did the DNC triggered the fibroid, and the fibroid became infected, and the infection spread to my uterus and my bladder, and it was about to spread through my whole entire body. And I was in the hospital, so I had 8 antibiotics going in and out my system because they were trying to clear out the infection out of my body. And
mhm.
the 12th day, I woke up, my whole body was gray and my lips were blue.
Ooh.
So the doctors had to like do an emergency rush surgery on me, because if that didn't happen, I would have died because the
Oh my
five.
God.
So
Wow.
yeah, I had a emergency myomectomy. They removed 4 fibroids on the outside, and I had, I think, like 3 on the inside, which were very small. And they were like, yeah, they're gonna go away on their own. And that was my third miscarriage. My first miscarriage was twins. One of my twins fell out of me when my twin was 5.5 months, so I had to
Oh
catch
my
it out of
gosh.
the toilet. And then I had another miscarriage 3 months after those twins. and I was just bleeding all over the place, profusely bleeding. So
Mm-hmm.
just to say, I don't have any kids, but I'm an earth mother. So everybody who's younger than me, those are my children.
You have, do you have siblings? You have siblings? Do you have nieces?
I got 6 nieces, 2 nephews, and I helped mom raise my younger sister, who is 4 years younger than me. My brother is 15 years younger than me, and then I have another brother who's like 20 years younger than me. So I help them, and then I have little cousins away. So I was changing at 14.
But that's actually good because you have siblings and you have nieces, you have nephews and everything like that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh my God.
And with my wife, she got 4 kids. So I have 4 bonus grandbabies and 2 bonus daughters.
Mm-hmm.
So
can I ask you another question? How did you hear about JV Collaborate? How did you hear about that?
Scrolling on Facebook.
Really?
Yes. I know a girl, her name is Abigail Sinclair, and I think she is part of JVIC. And she actually had posted something about collaborating, networking with a whole bunch of people, and it was for 3 days. And there was a free part to it, and then there was the other amount to it. And I was like, this seems interesting. And I know her, and she's really good peeps. And that's how I was able to connect with everyone with JV. So that's how I knew.
Can I see your book again?
Yeah, sure.
Just hold it up so that we can see it now. It's the 365 Days of Affirmations for Mind, Heart, Body, and Spirit. Now, do you teach, do you have any courses? How long is the program that you teach them?
I don't have a program as yet. Not yet. For me, I think I want to do a live webinar because I like to do things in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And I like asking thought-provoking questions on the spot because I feel like that's where I impact people the most. So if I do anything, it's going to be like a live webinar type of thing where how affirmation really can create powerful manifestations and how affirmations can help you go through your healing and forgiveness process within self. So for me, an online course is great, but I want people to feel my energy, how powerful and compassionate it is, so that it transmutes to them.
Mm-hmm.
It transmutes into them, and it makes it even more impactful to me.
Now, so I guess you're a new entrepreneur. You're new in the startup phase. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So now, what would you like to offer, I guess, the listeners regarding, and just tell us where you're going to be. Now, you have another book signing that you're going to do in April, right? Hi, Georgia. We love you, Georgia.
My other book signing is on April 17th, which is a Saturday at Cosmic Corner here in Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
And it is 305 East 38th Street, but all of that stuff is on my website. I'm actually offering a free ebook version of my book. It's the first 11 affirmations, so you can experience what that is. And I'm also doing a 30-minute intentional living coaching session with anyone who wants to experience what that is with me. So there's 2.
Wow, that is actually cool. I'm looking for guests that I can do a live coaching session with.
Sure.
I'm like, all right, now that'll be cool. Let's do a live coaching session on the air. I think people need to experience that. And I think for you to give them a freebie and a free live coaching session, I think that would be awesome. And your book is not just geared to a particular type of person, because we're human beings and because I think we're all connected as human beings. We really, really are. I think that just anyone can benefit from your book, I think.
Yeah, anyone can benefit from the book. Affirmations are universal. They're worldwide. We use affirmations every single day. Be it be it negative or positive, you're always speaking an affirmation over your life, over yourself, over other people. So affirmations are very powerful in that way, and affirmations can help you manifest the hell out of so many different things in your life.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
and the way that I've created the book, it's not in third person, it's in first person. So when you're reading it, you're already speaking an affirmation over your life and yourself without even noticing that you're already manifesting, but the words that you're speaking when you read the book, because you're feeling it within your mind, heart, body, and spirit. So I'm already teaching how to manifest with reading the book.
Okay. Because affirmations, I think most people don't know what affirmations is, but affirmations are things that you say to yourself, and people speak to themselves all the time in either a positive content or a negative content. And I think that your book with the positive affirmations, 365 is universal. And I think that is fantastic.
So let's do this. I often ask people to give me a number between 1 and 365. So what is your number?
53.
53. So 53 says, I remain dedicated to healing my heart and spirit because of past trauma that no longer controls over my life. I give myself permission and I have the willpower to release all the hurt and pain I feel in order to finally feel complete.
Aww. And how much is the book?
It's $29.99 plus it's two different things with the book. The one thing is it's part of my campaign, 100 copies in 30 days to be a blessing to another person that is going through a struggle or hard time. So a portion of the proceeds from every copy, when you purchase, you're purchasing with a purpose. The other side of that too is you're able to be featured on my podcast that's aligned with my book. Is 365 Affirmations Readers Review, where the readers would come on and describe their experience with the book, define what affirmations mean to them, and then we can just talk about their favorite affirmations. And I did it that way because I feel like, yes, Amazon is great for reviews, but I feel at the same time, when you buy a book from an author, you really don't get that opportunity to connect with the author to tell them how much this book has impacted their lives. So that's why I created the podcast, to actually connect with my readers.
Now, and the name of the podcast again is
365 Affirmations Readers Review.
365 Affirmations Readers Review. And where can they connect with you? Are you on Anchor, Spotify?
I'm on everything.
Really? Where can they connect?
So you can go straight to my website. It'll show you podcasts, all the podcasts. So SoundCloud, Anchor FM, Google Play, Google Podcast. What was the other one? There was another one that I'm a part of. Oh, Spotify. I'm on Spotify. So when Anchor.fm, what that does is once you upload all of your podcasts, it actually streams it out to a whole different bunch of podcasts. So
like the 7 different platforms.
Absolutely.
Because basically once I put this up on Anchor, it goes to like 7. I think I'm on like 9 different platforms or something like that. So it's like, okay. And I'll send you a copy of the link and a copy of the broadcast. And we have another 2 minutes. So do you have any golden nuggets for us?
Like I said, don't wait until something drastic happens to like live your best life. Jump, stretch, leap right now. Even if you're fearful, transmute that fear into positive, powerful energy that's going to push you into elevating into your next level. Me having a near-death experience taught me that, because I don't want any human being that's alive right now to wait until they're on their deathbed saying I shoulda, coulda, woulda, and I didn't. So if you have the opportunity
I don't do that anymore.
have the opportunity.
I've seen so many near-death experiences to the point like, okay, now, like,
yeah.
All right, I'm on the planet for a reason. So who am I serving? Who am I edifying? Who am I uplifting? Who am I encouraging today to be their best self, to be, just to shine brightly,
Yes.
because my light, your light, and the next person's light, and the next person's light, and the next person's light can actually raise the energy level of the planet, shift the mood. You
Right.
understand? And I sit down and I'm saying to myself, wow, when in the Bible, what it says tells us that we are the salt of the earth, and God wants us to shine
Absolutely.
brightly. And I think that what you're doing with your positive affirmations and the edification process, because women need to hear these things.
Yeah.
Women need to know that it's okay to forgive yourself. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to forgive your body. It's okay to accept yourself
Mm-hmm.
for who you are. And
Yeah.
I think when you make peace with yourself, like you did with your boobs, and
Mm-hmm.
I
Or
had to listen. Let me tell you something. Self-love is important.
absolutely.
It is so important because I sit down and I'm just going to touch on my brother DMX right now. Love
Yeah.
DMX. Oh my God, my heart. When I saw what happened on Twitter, like my heart was just like, what happened? What
Mm-hmm.
happened, D? Like,
Mm-hmm.
where? Like, because he was doing so good with his sobriety. He was doing so good, like he was performing, and he was just out there just like, what happened?
Something had to
And
trigger him. Something deep down in his core had to trigger him in order for him to go back to that dark space.
I sit down and I say to myself, shame, guilt, fear, and anxiety and
Yeah.
condemnation, shame, guilt, fear, condemnation. Let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
If you can just get past that, the
Yep.
guilt of whatever, of and the shame of doing
Mm-hmm.
like because it'll, if not, you'll end up in that dark place again.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's hard when you're in a dark space and you don't know how to crawl from up that dark space. Like it's just hard. So like I tell people, forgiveness and healing and affirmations and mindset is something that you have to implement every freaking day of your life. So when those challenges come above you, you already have tools in your arsenal to fight it because you're doing it every day. Healing is a lifestyle. Forgiveness is a lifestyle. It's not something you do once, twice, three times. You have to probably go through a process of forgiving yourself 100 times for things that you've done to yourself in the past because it's in your
Look,
in,
look, daily.
yes, every
Daily, minute by minute by minute by minute, on a daily basis. It is a continuous thing. Self
absolutely.
forgiveness, self awareness, self just
Hmm.
not only respect for yourself, but respect
Yeah,
for other people. And as you can respect yourself,
yeah.
you can
You know what
respect
I
other people. As you forgive yourself, you
do?
forgive
Yes.
other people.
You know what I do sometimes when I'm in the shower? I reflect on my day and how amazing I've come leaps and bounds and jumps. And I would hug myself and I would say, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do what I do. Thank you for, even though if I'm scared that you're my spirit, you're still pushing me. I thank you for this. I thank you for the sacred temple. And I would cry tears of joy and bliss because I'm like, I'm still here.
You're
Regardless,
alive and you're on the planet.
yes. And regardless of
Isn't that
anything,
something?
yeah, anything you've been through in your life, you overcame it. If you would reflect back to like 2000, what you were doing then and to the person you are now, it's two different people. Two
Mhm,
different
mhm.
people.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And you have to get to that point where you're using it to heal someone else, to help someone else. You understand? Not condemning, and just, I say to myself, like, if we can all just let people just be themselves.
Yep, all day. Share, teach, and serve. That is it. It costs you not a damn thing to share, teach, and serve. Nothing.
And to be kind.
That part too. Compassion.
Mhm.
Compassion.
Compassion, empathy, tolerance, and I think just acceptance of not just yourself, but acceptance of other people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So true. So true.
Well, Phoenix, love you, girl. Let me give you let me give you a big hug, and I thank you. I thank you so very much for being my guest today. Thank you so very much for just being you.
Thank you. And thank you for being you and honoring us with your presence and your grace on this beautiful planet in this lifetime and all the amazing things that you're doing to help
Let me
others.
tell you something. I can say that because I look right now and I am a advocate for the LGBT community.
Mhm.
You understand? Even though I'm a straight female,
Mhm.
I have LGBTQ friends, and look, and it's not friends that you see once in a while. These are my friends that I have been friends with them ever since high school.
Mhm.
And this is like 40 years later, and
Mhm.
we're still friends. We still do barbecues and picnics, and and I sit down and I say to myself, like, human beings are human beings.
Absolutely.
Now I sit down and I'm also an advocate for straight people because I'm straight, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not against anything. I'm not against anybody. I'm like, people, I say to myself, like, can we just learn to just get along
Absolutely.
as human beings?
Yeah,
And
'cause we're
the
all
group,
going through the same thing at the same time right now. We're in a damn pandemic. It's affecting everybody from a race, culture, ethnicity, you name it. We all going through a damn pandemic together at the same time. There is nobody on the damn planet that is exempt from this mofo.
and listen, I sit down here and I say to myself, damn, I'm like, is God trying to tell us something? God
Oh,
is trying to say something, like, we are really all connected. We really are all connected. And
that part. That
if we
part.
can just play nice on planet Earth, play nice on planet Earth. And I'm like, oh my God, I miss my family. Since the pandemic started, I think I've seen my family twice. Have you seen your family?
Yes, I went to New York for 10 days to spend time with my mom because she needed me and I wanted to be there for her. And I saw her last year for Thanksgiving. I just wanted
Hmm.
to, bless her with my presence because I have a lot of friends who don't have their parents. Their parents have passed on. And the fact that I still have my mom and my dad and I'm able to physically hug them and
Hmm.
express to them so they could hear in their ears and in their heart that I love them and I appreciate them. That was something that I needed to do, especially
Hmm.
for my mother. So
Hmm.
yeah, for sure. I made sure I
Awesome.
took the trip to go see my mom, and it even with the pandemic, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to allow this to make
Hmm.
me not go and spend some time with her, because
Hmm.
time right now is the most precious gift we have is time right now.
Hmm.
You know,
I
and
just
love and
received
compassion.
I just received a thank you card. I can say from my sorority from the Polka Dots, and I did a speaking event on March 11th,
I
and
saw. Congrats.
an in-person speaking event, and I think it was what, like 100 women in the room. They were all entrepreneurs and business women, and just for me to speak, to honor them and to uplift them and to let them know that whatever it is, love yourself a little bit more.
Absolutely.
But women helping women to shine, and women helping, and as a polka dot, people like, what's a polka dot? I'm like, are you a dot? Are you a dot? Basically, it's a support system for women
Uh-huh.
entrepreneurs. Some aren't entrepreneurs, but some are just members of the group. And I think that women need a safe space where they're not being either condemned or criticized, but
Or judged.
supported
Mm-hmm.
or judged, but they need a space to do what? To believe in themselves. And I think the group is such a good group that now we have to learn not to fight amongst each other.
That part. That part. It's the most craziest
To
thing.
get
I had a conversation with a friend of mine about this the other day about the whole crabs in a barrel mentality.
yes.
Not because I'm a spiritual, you know, person or whatever, and you do the same thing that I do doesn't
No,
mean that.
but just as human beings, just as human beings. And I sit down and I say to myself, like, and these women have been so supportive. When I say so supportive of me being part of their chapter, and thank you, ladies.
That's amazing. Beautiful.
And they're all, majority of them are women business owners and entrepreneur. And I'm still new in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So how even authors, oh my God, I sit
Mm-hmm.
down and I'm saying to myself, are you teaching them how to write a book? Because a lot of people don't know how to write a book. Are you teaching them on your podcast how to do the concept of getting their story out there to be seen, to be heard? And
If it's asked of me, yes, because I had one young lady yesterday on Instagram hit me up about writing a book, how to go about writing a book. And I told her, the best advice I can give you, and this is what I did, is I started journaling. And when I started journaling, I started applying all of my feelings on paper. And then I would read it back to myself to see how I felt. And then that in turn turned into a book. But my first book, when I wrote it, I was guided by a spirit of the first prime minister of Puerto Rico. When I went to Puerto Rico to go visit, I had a vision I was going to meet an old woman that was going to change my life. I didn't realize she'd already passed away 20, 50 years ago. And so her spirit spoke to me through one of the tour guides. And so that's how I started my book, because I felt her love, I felt her vibration, and she was a
mm,
person for the people, and she didn't have any kids either. And so the village of Puerto Rico, or the whole city of Puerto Rico, were her children. And so when
oh
she died,
wow.
she wasn't buried in like a specific area for the rich and celebrity. She was asked to be buried. She asked them to bury her within the community cemetery, and
It didn't, I'm
she would give,
sorry.
yeah, she would give food and clothes and toys to all of the kids in Puerto Rico so they could have something.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm,
And the tour guide was like, "You need to go back to New York and share your story because it's needed. Everything you
mm-hmm,
do is a gift, and you need to serve and teach and share your gift." And that's how I started my first book.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, I think women helping women to heal, women mentoring women, I think that's amazing. I think it is something that is definitely needed because I can understand you. I can
Mhm.
relate to,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've had my own fibroid journey
Girl.
and
Yeah, I was happy when they were like, "Oh, you're gonna need a hysterectomy." I was like, "Sign me up." I wrote a letter to my uterus. I thanked her for her service. I thanked her for the battles that we had together. I burned that letter, and I was like, "Let's get it, hysterectomy. Here I come."
not me. I was not that willing. I had two myomectomies because at the time when I first found out I had fibroids, at the time I was still married. And then after my divorce, and then I still wanted children. I really wanted children. And I sat down and I couldn't have any kids. And then and while getting my divorce, and in the process of graduation, between graduation, right after graduation, I ended up having the hysterectomy, the my first myomectomy. So I still had like one tube and an ovary, and then I'm like, okay. So I ended up working with this diagnostic company, and with the diagnostic company, they ended up having like 90% in coverage if you can do IVF. I ended up working with the diagnostic company, thought I was going to do the IVF process. I'm like, okay, let me get a sperm donor, find a boyfriend or somebody to help me get this
Right.
baby.
I understand. I understand.
And listen, so I ended up basically what ended up happening was I couldn't find a boyfriend within that time period, and the fibroids just kept growing, 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 growing. So I decided to do the to get sperm from a sperm donor
Mhm.
from the sperm bank. So just when I thought I just got the sperm ready to do the IVS process, and my doctor sends me to get a histiopineogram. And the histiopineogram is to see if the tube is open
Mhm.
and if the sperm can flow through freely into the tube. So I get the histiopineogram, and when I looked at it, I saw the dye, and then you can see where the blockage was. And I'm saying to myself, she goes, "Oh my God, there's a fibroid sitting on your fallopian tube."
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
like, oh, girl, that's the same thing I says. I say, what? A fibroid? I was like, oh my gosh. She goes, and Jennifer, and then when they looked at my uterus, the fibroids started returning, and
Yep. Mhm. That's what
and
happened
I
too. My
and I
fibroids
sat there.
vengeance.
Say it again. Say it
My
again.
fibroids returned with a vengeance,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and that's
And
why
I
I
said,
opted to do hysterectomy.
and I ended up doing two hysterectomies. I mean, two myomectomies and one hysterectomy. And I
Yep.
sat down and I'm saying to myself, wow, this is like really serious. But
Yeah.
after that, I made peace with it.
Yeah, I made peace with it. I was doing the running man and everything. I was like, you gotta go. I love my body. I love my uterus. And I thanked her for her service and everything we've been through together. But at one point, I was like, you know what? Parts of your body, reason, season, lifetime. Just
Mhm.
like you take out your wisdom tooth, you've had them for a whole long time in your life. Eventually, you have to part ways with them. I had to part ways
Listen,
with them.
listen, when I had my hysterectomy,
Mhm.
literally I could have did cartwheels down the friggin hallway the next day after that, because I had to take Vicodin to stand up. I had to take Vicodin just to like
Oh, wow.
walk and move, because my stomach, my intestine, and my bladder was fused together.
Oh my gosh.
It was. I walked like an old lady
Oh,
because everything was just like,
yeah. That's how I felt when I had the myomectomy done. The hysterectomy,
mm,
I didn't feel anything. It
mhm,
was like a little cramping here and there, but after that, I was fine because they did a partial and they did it laparoscopically. So I didn't
mhm.
have any. I had like little incisions here and there, but it wasn't as drastic as the myomectomy. That was just like, oh my god, that hurt. And on top of that, too, 3 weeks later, after I had my myomectomy, I went in for a second surgery because my gallbladder was damaged beyond repair.
Let me tell you something. Your gallbladder, what now? What happened?
My gallbladder was damaged beyond repair, so I had to have a second surgery in 2011 to remove my gallbladder, and that happened 3 weeks after I had my first surgery to remove the fibroids.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So the doctor was like, "Do you want to live or die?" I'm like, "You can take it out. Take it out. Just it's yours. You can keep it. It's a parting gift." Thank you. Thank you.
I had to get to that point. For real, I had to get to that point where I'm like, listen,
Hmm.
had to just make peace with releasing my body parts. And I'm saying to myself, like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And then I could do the wiggle, but it took a long time for my abdomen muscles in that area
Mhm.
to heal
Yep.
because so many operations. I'm like, damn, I could have had babies like 3 times.
Yep. Had 3 operations. So I understand it.
Mhm. Wow.
But you're here to talk to me and help other people.
Listen, women have certain issues that they deal with, and I think as women, we should be able to discuss it.
Absolutely. Yes.
Phoenix, thank you so very much
So
for
thank
listen, my
you.
sister. Listen,
Thank
listen, my sister. I can say sister, and I can listen, we are sisters. Are
Are
we
we sisters?
sisters?
Yes,
I
we
can
are.
say that. I can say that. Okay, sis. Now give us the .coms and the link, how to get in contact with you, or how to purchase your book, or how to just visit your website. How do
Yep.
they,
Officialphoenixgibbs.com. That's it.
officialphoenixgibbs.com, and that's it. Let me tell you something. Listen, we love you, Phoenix.
We love you
We love
too.
you. We love you because your journey has been a very challenging journey,
Mhm. Yep.
and you have been close to death, but you didn't pass away or you didn't die, and you are here, alive and on the planet. Hello?
Yes, absolutely. Alive and kicking.
And we're like classmates. So we'll connect and we'll see each other again
Yep.
on at JV Collaborate.
Mhm.
Okay.
All
And
right.
on that note, uh look. Ooh. One love, girl.
Love. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.